Welcome back to another YouTube video. As you can see from the title, I'm going to be teaching you how to start a clothing brand. And the reason why I put in Nigeria is because later on in the video, I'll be giving you a Nigerian manufacturer. So if you follow this video step by step to the end, you'll be able to successfully make your first drop for your clothing brand. If this is your first time seeing me and you're wondering who I am, my name is Sani and I've been running my clothing brand Absa worldwide for the past 4 years now. I'm building the most impactful brand in Nigeria, and my brand has been able to generate $10,000 worth of sales repeatedly. As you can see from behind, the shelf is looking a bit scanty, and that is because I've sold out majority of the stuff that I have in inventory, and this is all the inventory I have right now. I'm going to show you guys a clip of how it used to look like before and how it is right now. The brand has also been worn by well-known celebrities like Charlie Poppy, Odumodu Black, and Davido, just to name a few. Before I start, I just want to say this thing real quick. If you are looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, or you don't really care about fashion, or you don't spend a lot of money on clothes, then I'll advise you to start another business. Clothing is not the business for you. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is something that takes years to build. But once you've been able to build it to get to a certain point and you develop the strategy and you understand the system, it will just be much easier for you to keep going. First things first, you need a name. A name must not be something so crazy. It must not be something that you will spend so much time thinking about. This is something that I feel like people overthink it more than they need to overthink it. For my own now, Abdrazak Sani, AB, then SA, Sani. That's how I came up with my own name, which I've said this like a lot of times. But it must not be from your name. There are brands like, for example, Who Decides War. It's not the person's name. There is Against Medical Advice. So with the name, just pick something that's marketable, memorable, and something that it means something to you. It's not just random, because people are always going to ask you, how did you come about your name? How did you come about your name? And it's just going to sound funny if you tell them, I just guessed it, or I just came up with the name. Just have something that ties back to why you chose that name. There are lots of brands out there, Billionaire Boys Club. It must not be your name, because I feel like because people know me and they know it's my name, some people always just try to make their brand out of their name. It must not be your name. It can be a sentence. Just don't pick something trendy. Don't pick something that is just trendy right now. Like somebody a while ago DM'd me and he said the name of his brand is Ocean Steez. And the reason why you picked Steez is because that is what is trending at the moment. Once Steez stop trending, your name will now start sounding corny to you. It won't be sounding as cool as it used to sound. Just like, for example, I say swag now, and let's say 5 years ago when swag was a thing, or drip, I'll now say infinite drip or something, and then drip stopped becoming a thing. When I tell people like the name of my brand, it will just sound so corny and it won't sound as cool as it used to sound. That's just the advice I'll give you. So don't pick something that has to do with trend right now. Next, logo. For logo now, what I'll tell you about logo is it can be a word. There are two different types of logo, either symbol logo or word type logo. So for word type logo, this is an example of a word type logo, and this is an example of a symbol logo. And the logo basically is just something that represents your brand, a symbol or a writing that represents your brand. It can be your name, which is the word type logo, or it can be a symbol. For me, I have the both of them, and I like to switch between both of them in order to just give different flavors or different looks to whatever item I'm dropping at that moment. Then how will you design your logo? For designing your logo, if you are creative and you are good at Photoshop or all these editing software, I would advise you to try and make your logo on Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. Those two softwares are softwares that you can use to make your logo. But if you are not so creative, or if you want to do something that is more basic, you can use Canva or Kito. On Canva or Kito, you can be able to design your logo and just come up with a logo for you to get the ball rolling. But if you are not good at it, then you can go to this website, fiverr.com. This isn't sponsored. Go to Fiverr and search for graphic designer. Then send the graphic designer that you find, because there will be different prices and different graphic design style. So pick the one that you're comfortable with and the price that is good enough for you. Then send them a reference logo. Like, for example, if you like my logo, for example, you can send it to them and tell them to make something similar to that. If you like Chanel, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, send the logo of the brand that you like to your graphic designer as a reference logo and tell him you want something similar to this, and he'll be able to make something similar to that for your own brand. If you've made it up to this point, please support my channel by dropping a like, subscribing, and turning on post notifications. You can also take it an extra step by letting me know in the comments what kind of video you want me to do next. After you're done with the name and the logo, what is next? Me, I like to think as this step as the step that people overlook, but it is deciding the first products that you want to drop for your brand. So first of all, if I've decided name, logo, I'll think, what do I want to drop first for my brand? Is it t-shirts? Is it shorts? Is it caps? Is it bandana? There are lots of things that you can drop. But my general advice that I give to all Absa Academy students is, don't make more than 3 different products at the same time. Maximum of 3 items at once. So if you're starting off, even if you have $1 million, please, 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 I am begging you, don't make more than 3 products for your first drop, because there are a lot of things for you to learn. And if you end up making more than 3 products in your first drop, it will be hard for you to market, it will be hard for you to manage inventory, it will just be hard for you to operate, and that might end up making you get burnt out, or you fail, or you just run into a lot of different problems, and that might make you feel like making a brand isn't for you. So general rule of thumb, do not make more than 3 different items for your first drop. After deciding the number of products that you want to make, next thing for you to do is your first design. If you're making a t-shirt, for example, what I would advise you to do is to make sure there is a story behind the t-shirt design. Don't just do a logo t-shirt. Majority of brands feel like it's cool to just make a logo t-shirt. Like this shirt I'm wearing right now, this is the logo in the front, but there is still a design behind, because it is going to be easier for you to market, promote, and you will just have more things to talk about when there is a story behind the shirt. For me personally, I've done a lot of TikToks about the story behind every drop. Even my first YouTube video, one of the reasons why that drop was so successful was because of the design. There was a story attached to the design. If I just made a logo t-shirt, trust me, only your friends will buy. People that don't care about your logo, they will just see it as every other shirt, no matter how good of a quality the shirt is. So don't be lazy about design. So when you figure out the design that you want to do, if you are creative, you take the same process of making logo. If you are creative and you can do the graphics yourself, try to do it on Photoshop or Illustrator. Get a mock-up, design it on the mock-up. But if you're not on the creative side and you're not good at all these editing apps, same thing as making logo, is the same process. You'll find a graphic designer or a t-shirt designer on Fiverr and send them a design reference. If you have the design in your head, you can explain it to the graphic designer and try to make him understand, so he can bring it to reality for you, or he can make it a digital file for you. Because even if you draw the design, your manufacturer cannot print from just the drawing, so you need to make it a digital file. Either you draw the design that you want and send it to your graphic designer so he makes it a digital file, or you can send him design reference just like the logo. Go to a brand that you know they've made something similar to what you want, you send it to the guy as design reference. Let's say, for example, Hellstar. When Hellstar was a thing, I remember I sent the Hellstar reference to one graphic designer to help me come up with a design. But when the design came, I didn't like how it looked, and it just looked like Hellstar too much that I didn't want to drop it. So I ended up not dropping it at all. But this is a route that you can take if you know you are not so good at design or all these editing apps. For me personally, I edit and make my designs myself, which is what I'll advise you to do. Make your designs yourself. It's not so hard. Nobody was born with the ability to know how to use Photoshop or Illustrator. Me, I learned how to use Photoshop on YouTube, and even up till today, I still try to learn how to make my designs better. So that's just it. It's not something you can be lazy about. But if you have the money to be able to afford or outsource, it's always fine to outsource. But it will save you a lot of money if you can design. To even give you more creative freedom if you can design or make the design by yourself on Photoshop or Illustrator. After making your first design, next step is to create social media accounts. When you are done with your first design, create social media accounts with the name that you've chosen for your brand. Create social media account and start posting on the social media account. Post behind the scenes of you coming up with the design. Post behind the scenes of you that's on your story, of you communicating with your graphic designer or whatever. Post everything that you've done so far, and don't post it all at once. Try to be posting daily and try to be consistent. Just be showing people progress of what you've been doing so far. And since the new social media account, since the new Instagram account, go and be liking people's posts, commenting, just be interacting with people so that you can at least start building up a following. Go and follow your friends first so that at least they know it's you and they can follow you back. So while you are doing that, I just wanted to say this briefly so that you start creating buzz. Then we will come back to this segment, which is promoting on social media, later on in the video. Now to the next step, which is samples. How do you make your samples? And this is where I said I will give a Nigerian manufacturer. Here is a Nigerian manufacturer that you can use to make your first ever sample, and tell them Absa sent you. Discuss with them the important details that you want to be on the design. Give them design measurements, and for design measurements, all you have to do is take a shirt that you have at home, lay it on the floor or on table or like a flat surface, then carry measuring tape and envision how big you want the logo to be on the shirt or the design to be on the shirt, and measure it and write it down and send it to them. So that way they will have your design measurements and they won't make a print that might be too small or too big and you end up complaining or you end up having to do another sample. But this is a very good Nigerian manufacturer, trusted, and I've worked with him before, and you would be able to get good quality from this Nigerian manufacturer. But if you want my complete list of Nigerian and Chinese manufacturer, DM me on TikTok or on Instagram, and you can buy my course or join Absa Academy, where I'll teach you in depth other things that you need to know about growing your brand. Or if you want the course, you just get my tools and resources containing my list of Chinese manufacturers, Nigerian manufacturers, size charts, and other important things, videos explaining in depth of what you need to grow your clothing brand. So when the manufacturer is busy making your sample, what you need to do now is go back to social media and keep promoting. Post as much details, post everything. Then before you even post like on your story and all of that, you can post your logo or your first ever mock-up, your design, the first design that you're going to drop. You can post it and write a quick statement about what the design is about. So this is why I tell you to have a story. So you can write a quick statement like, okay, this drop is about, let me use corruption in paradise as an example. This drop is about the corruption in paradise. Just write a sensible statement about what the drop is going to be about. And one thing again, don't make it too long. Maximum like 5 lines or 4 lines. Don't make it too long, because if it's too long, trust me, nobody is going to read it. When you receive your samples, we are still on the topic of promoting on social media. Now that the products are in the hands of the manufacturers making sample, I always tell you people to make 2 samples. Making 2 samples will be better. One that is your size and one that is bigger or smaller. When you do it that way, 1, you can see how big the sizes fit, and 2, when you post on social media and it's going well, you can sell the other one to make a quick turnover, and you can use that to keep going. When you finally receive the sample, what do you have to do next? Keep promoting on social media. People take promoting on social media as doing one thing and then it will just successfully blow up your brand. Promoting on social media is continuous. You have to keep doing it. It's a wheel that you have to keep spinning. You have to keep doing it. Even when your video goes viral, next day still post, because it is a wheel that doesn't stop until you finish selling out the inventory. That is the challenge I always give myself. And it's still the same thing with upcoming drops. You will just do the same thing, promote until you finish selling out the inventory. And if you are confused on what type of content you should make educational, motivational / inspirational, entertaining, and behind the scenes of what running your clothing brand feels like. So that way people are part of your journey, they are getting value, they are being entertained, and you are also able to sell clothes. If you are able to do all these steps that I've told you correctly, then you'll start seeing sales. And all you need to do is to just keep repeating the process, and you'll keep doing it. Before you know, time will go by and you'll see how far that you've come. Remember to always make supply less than demand, so that way the market will keep wanting more and you'll still be able to scale more than you've been able to scale in the past. Because if people see something as rare, it will give them the desire to want it more. This is going to be a challenging journey. Trust me, none of this is easy. This is going to be a challenging journey. It has been challenging for me from when I started, and more challenges to still come. Forever, when you are in business, that's just how it's going to be forever. But trust me, it's going to be worth it along the line. If it wasn't worth it, after 4 years of doing something and it's not successful, I'm not a fool, I will stop doing it. But this is something that I know it has been proven to work. It has been working for years, and this is a billion-dollar industry. So it's better if you get into it, if you know you have what it takes to get into it. When you have success with your first drop, all you have to do now is just keep repeating the process. If you've made it up to this point, I appreciate you watching the video from beginning all the way to the end. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and you can also tell me the kind of video you want to see next. I want to know who the real ones are. Comment Absa to the world.